very good afternoon to you from me, Alex Nyman, with my programme for you this afternoon, Insights. As usual, a veritable potpourri of jazz and world music. Although this week, if you were with me last week and the week before, you'll know that I was playing some rather, shall we say, slightly harder to get into kind of music in terms of the instrument and the style. So quite taxing and free jazz and all that sort of stuff. So I thought we'd have a nice, relaxing day today with some beautiful music from a few of my very, very favourite smooth jazz players. One of them is Huge Groove. This is a track from him. This is called Sneak a Peek. Oh yeah, Ooge Groove there with Sneak. A peek from his album called, well, believe it or not, Ooge Groove. And that's well, it's actually not really his name. It's Eugene, and I'm not too sure about the groove bit. Grove, maybe Grove. Eugene Grove. Anyway, it doesn't really matter so much, does it? As I say, smooth as what should we call it? An otter's coat. Yes, smooth as an otter's coat. That particular sort of playing. Gorgeous, lovely sound, great sound, very personal sound as well. I'm going to move on to another fabulous saxophone player who's been around for a long time. His name is Maceo Parker. He's a saxophone player with James Brown and those guys, and he really is he is like the master of funk saxophone, and just knows how to take three notes and create the most amazing solos. This is a number actually originally written by his name will come to me very shortly, and it's called The Chicken. Pee Wee Ellis, that's the guy's name, Pee Wee Ellis. The Chicken, Pee Wee Ellis there, and by Pee Wee Ellis, just say, the Maceo Parker band, if you will. Pretty much the same guys that were in the James Brown horn section, and probably the same guys that were in the rhythm section as well. Fantastic, great playing, really funky, marvellous, great trombone solo, by the way. Really, really enjoyed that. Okay, let's move on to another very well-known smooth jazz saxophone player. His name is Boney James. I always wonder, is Boney or Bonnie? No, it can't be Bonnie. It's Boney. I think it's Boney. I'm pretty sure it's Boney. He doesn't look particularly bony when you see him, so I don't know where the name came from. Maybe it's when he was a child. Maybe he was particularly thin. Who knows? Anyway, I'll do a little research on that and let you know forthwith. Here's a track from him, and this is called Sunset Boulevard. Boney James. There you go, Boney James with Sunset Boulevard. Smooth jazz does get a bit of a dirty rap sometimes. I'm fairly, I think, in my book, people kind of call it wallpaper music, and the thing is that at the end of the day, I think any style of music to be done well requires great skill and great talent, and those guys certainly have that in bucket loads. People like Uge Groove and Boney and Maceo Parker and those sort of guys, they're fabulous players. And when the red light goes on in the recording studio, that's when it shows. And those guys can lay down some most beautiful solos. And I'm a bit of a sucker, I must say, for gorgeous chord changes. And more often than not, smooth jazz is involved with a lot of really, nice, if you will, romantic chord changes. But what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's move on a little bit. This one's not quite so romantic from Uge. This is a track from him, and this is called Slam Dunk. Oh yeah, Uge Groove there with Slam Dunk. That's from his album called Playdate. And just in case you're interested in listening to any more of that particular album, I don't think I'm playing any more from that particular album on this show today. So, if you want to listen to more, go pop onto Apple or wherever you like to listen to your music, and you'll find more of his stuff on there. And I was, it's funny because I was just looking down at the labelling of the channels on the mixing desk here in front of me, and Mike is often shortened, as you probably know, to MIC. M for microphone, yeah. And we got Mike B, Mike C, Mike D, Mike E, which MICE spells mice. And it just reminded me, there is a story. I sound like Ronnie Corbett, don't I? There is a story to this. And it is that last night while I was sitting watching television, right about sort of, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I was having a little glass of, IPA of some description, and watching television. My wife was in the kitchen, and the children were outside doing something, and something caught my eye at the bottom, just behind all the paraphernalia that fires up the television, big screen sort of stuff, all that subwoofery and all those, sound bars and things like that. And this sweet little dark brown mouse appeared from. Well, he looked dark brown to me anyway. I had a couple of beers by that point, so he might have been he might have been black, but I think it was dark brown. And it's so sweet. And he sort of suddenly appeared out of just behind all of the paraphernalia, and went up to where the corner of there's a sort of corner of the wall, and off that is the kitchen. And he looked as if he was about to make a bit of an opening gambit for a run to get outside, because the doors were open. The ranch slider door was completely open, and he just got his nose round the corner. And I wasn't that pie-eyed, because I saw his nose peering around the corner. I didn't see his nose peering around the corner. I saw that he was putting his nose around the corner. He wasn't putting it at me, if you know what I mean. So anyway, he was looking around the corner, and he was just about to make a run for it. And then my wife moved in the kitchen. She did something like, I don't know, moved a plate or something, and he shot back behind the television again, all the paraphernalia anyway. And lo and behold, I thought, I said to my wife, I said, Chris, there's a mouse in the house, as you do. She said, oh no, what does he look like? I said, he's small and brown. He's got 2 ears and a little long tail and some whiskers by the looks of it. And she's like, where is he? I said, well, he's gone back behind. Oh, no. So I just moved the telly, and he shot then underneath the sofas, which are sort of like, in sort of reclining position for watching the large screen television. Right, she said, okay, so, and I went back and sat down, and at that point she said, oh no, he's shot back behind the television. So he shot back behind the television. And then Chris went back into the kitchen. And thereafter, about 3 or 4 times, he just appeared just by, again, round a corner. And each time he was just about to make an opening run for you could see him going, freedom. And then somebody made a noise, and he dashed behind the thing again. So anyway, just cut a long story short. Thankfully, you're probably thinking. And so he went behind the paraphernalia, all the soundbar stuff and everything. And so eventually we all went to bed. We go to bed pretty early in our place, probably about, well, I normally go to bed about 8:30 actually, showing my age. But I do need my beauty sleep, lots of it. And at that point, everybody else went to bed too. So as I went to bed, I suddenly thought, well, we've got a cat flap. The cats have been in. They generally go out at night, so they're okay. We've got a couple of cats, so they go out at night. And I thought, no, we've got little steps that lead up to the cat flap, because it's quite high. It's above the skirting board. So they need little steps to get out and get back in again. So they got those. And I thought, thinking about the mouse, I thought, well, those steps look quite high, and I know mice can sort of very adept at sort of jumping around and going to places, but I thought, I'm not sure he's going to get up there. So I tried several different alternative methods, like trying to provide him an exit ladder, if you will, and they ranged from something that you keep the door open with, but that was too bulky, and that filled the cat flap up. That was no good. And then a wooden spoon, and I thought, well, no, he's not a tightrope artist, is he? I mean, I know they can do that. And he probably could have done that, actually. No, I think it might have slipped round. It might have fallen off. So I thought, right, okay, I'm not going to get news. Oh, I know. I got a nice sort of thick tea towel and sort of rolled it up a little bit and lay it like a sort of a, like a snake, as it were, but not, just sort of like a cloth snake, and laid it down, leading up the steps to the exit, as it were. And then I went to bed. And I woke up this morning, and I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. And that doesn't mean he's not. He might have suddenly thought, it's actually quite nice in here. It's nice and warm. I've got plenty of food, the cat's food. I'll just stay at home. So what I will do, I will update you next week and let you know about the saga of the mouse in our house. Okay, so let's move on now. I think you're probably going, thank God for that. Come on, hurry up. All right, here's another track from Maceo. This is a live recording. This is one of his famous tracks, actually. He's done quite, as I say, he played with James Brown and all those guys for quite some time. He's a fantastic player, really. He's an alto saxophone player, and he doesn't play anything else, just alto. But man, he does it well. This is a track from him. He's a master of funk, and it's called Pass the Peas. It's a live recording, as you can probably hear already. Enjoy.
Peas, like we used to say, ooh, pass the peas, pass the peas, pass the peas. I like we used to say, come on, pass the peas, pass the peas, pass the peas. I like we used to say, ooh, pass the peas, what? Pass the peas, come on, pass the peas, hold on, pass. sure look good to me. Shuck. Shuck, shuck. Ooh, what's that you're doing? Sure look good to me. Come on, put your hands together. Come on. Clap your hands. Put your hands together. Clap your hands. Put your hands together. Good God. Clap your hands. Put them. Clap your hands. Give a big round of applause to Mr. Fred Wesley, ladies and gentlemen. Give a big round of applause to Mr. Rodney Jones. Give a big round of applause to Mr. Kenwood Denard.
Well, since he's introducing the band, I don't think we really want to hear much more of that. Well, I don't personally anyway. I'm sure it's going to be extremely interesting, but we're here to listen to music, not people introducing the band members. But I didn't know that was going to happen on that track, so I apologise for that. But that's okay. Hey, now I was just thinking, what am I going to call that mass if he's back in the house again? I'm going to call him Wallace. And it put me in mind of William Wallace, the actor Mel Gibson portrayed in his film Braveheart, as you might well have seen the film. Just at that bit at the end where he's had some really terrible things done to him by the guy with the various torturous implements, and his dying words were freedom. And I think that's what My Little Mouse will be saying. Might have been saying last night on his way out the door, or the cat flap, as the case may be. Let's hope it wasn't into the welcoming paws of one of the cats, because one of them is absolutely terrible, George. Oh, dear me. He's a killer, that's for sure. Okay, I was just looking at some of the other... Actually, well, maybe put me in mind of a lot of the Mel Gibson films. I've always maintained that I think he must be a little bit of a masochist, because most of his films generally revolve around either him or someone else being brutally tortured at some point during the film. And so I've got Braveheart. I've got ranked... The list of Mel Gibson movies ranked best to worst. Braveheart... Simple Trick to Remove Plug. Oh, sorry, that's an advert. Hacksaw Ridge. I haven't seen that one, actually. It's on Sky at the moment. The Patriot, that's also revolves around a fair bit of violence, doesn't it? Apocalypto, I think that's the brutally violent historical, Say No More. Lethal Weapon, we know he gets tortured in that one. The Passion of the Christ, well, we know Christ gets well and truly tortured in that one. I don't know if you've seen that film. It is absolutely amazing film. And I know that they said Jim Caviezel, who played Christ in the film, was never going to work again after playing the role. I don't know if you ever get a chance to see it. If you haven't seen it already, do watch it. It is a very it's really quite an amazing film. Payback, that's another one where he gets tortured. Oh, anyway, so on and so forth. And it's got nothing to do with my mouse, other than the fact that William Wallace is a guy that I'm going to call him. As I said, my mouse, I'm going to call him Wallace because he's thinking about freedom. I just know he is. And I'm going to free you up from my inane ramblings, and I'm going to carry on now with a little bit more of Ooge Groove. And this is actually one of my favourite tracks. I've recorded this one myself, and it's a beautiful track. And it's called Lampin' It. beautiful. Huge lamp in it, and I'm liking it. Excellent stuff. And one more thing before, I've got time for about another 2 or 3 tracks maybe. And just before I play those 2 or 3 tracks, I'd just like to say, as I always do, a very, very, very warm and hearty welcome to all those down at the JR Orchards in Greytown there, or just outside Greytown, to Jamie and the team. I hope all you guys are well and having it's a bit grey down there today, isn't it? It's a Greytown. It is literally grey. I woke up this morning, and I think it's the first morning I've woken up around just before 7 o'clock, and it was still virtually pitch black outside. Well, that was the view from where I was sitting, put it that way. And I opened the back door, had a little peek outside, and I could hear the birds twittering. So obviously the sun was on the rise, but it was pretty dark out there. Anyway, I hope all you guys are well, and I had Jamie's daughter over yesterday for a lesson, Melissa, and she's doing wonderfully, wonderfully well. She's now got all her 12 major scales down, and as we know, that's a great achievement in anybody's books. Once you get those down, you're laughing. Although she wasn't laughing too much because I was giving her a bit of a hard time, but that's okay because she's used to that now, so she doesn't seem to mind too much. Oh God, I hope she doesn't mind too much. Anyway, let's get. Sorry, Jamie, if she was upset. But the great thing was I saw her driving home in her car, and it was fantastic. She's up to speed. She's doing it. It's wonderful, and I was very surprised to see that. And it's good to see that she's taking that the whole driving thing. And as we all know, a driving license is a very important thing to have, especially if you live out in the sticks and getting from A to B. It's a very useful thing, and I remember doing I actually did my driving tests and lessons in London. I did most of my stuff in East London, and it's still be in good stead for getting around most of the major cities in Europe that I have in my time driving around London. It used to take me I used to allow an hour to drive 5 miles from where I was living on the river to the West End. It was literally 5 miles, and I had to leave an hour to get there, whether you can believe that or not. And of course, then when you get there, the West End of London, then you always got to find a place to park, and that was there's another sort of 10-15 minutes on your journey time. It worked. It was okay, apart from maybe New Year's Eve. That was the worst time. I remember I did several gigs at the Savoy Hotel, New Year's Eve gigs at the Savoy Hotel, and parking was just horrendous. I can't even remember where I used to park my car. Just some squeezed corner somewhere. I think because it was New Year's Eve, the traffic wardens kind of gave you a little bit of leeway. But man, just finding a little squeezy bot for a relatively small car was a hard thing. All right, let's go on. Let's move on with some Boney James, and this is a track from Boney from his album called Solid. And believe it or not, this track is called Solid. Oh yeah, Bernie James there with Solid from his album called Solid. Now I'm not going to ramble on anymore about mice or any other extraneous subjects today. I am now going to play you straight away that, as I said, Maceo Parker was playing with James Brown, and this is one of the very famous James Brown tunes that he played on. This is it. I got you. I feel good. Well, I do. I feel really good.
All right, put
See
your
you soon.
hands. Come on. Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, a very dear friend of ours, very close friend of ours. Had the pleasure of working with her so many times in the past. Give a big round of applause as we welcome Miss Kim Maisel. Put your hands together.
I feel good. I knew that I would die. I feel good. Oh, I knew that I would now. So good, so good. I got you. I feel nice. A little sugar and spice now. I feel nice. Oh, a little sugar and spice. Hey, I feel nice. So nice. I got you. When I hold you in my arms, you know you can't do me no harm. When I hold you.
Gonna have to just fade that down a little bit for the moment. I've got to say goodbye to you because it's nearly time to go, and wishing you the most wonderful week ahead. I hope the weather improves a little bit from today, and I hope the news from around the world improves as well. And I hope that everyone's safe out there, and I look forward to seeing you again next Monday, 12 to 1 p.m. with me, your host Alex, for Insights. I'm going to bring some pretty groovy music next week as well. Hope you're going to enjoy it. All right, cheers, bye-bye now.